Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Rahma with student ID E1D022131. I'm from the 5th group and I would like to explain about semantic. Okay, there will be five content that I will explain today. The first one is definition of semantic. The second one is about basic principle of semantic. The third one is semantic features. The fourth one is types of semantic, and the last is words and meaning. So let's talk about the first one. The first one is about definitions of semantic. Semantics is the study of meaning in language. We know that language is used to express meanings that can be understood by others. But meanings exist in our minds and we can express what is in our minds through the spoken and written forms of language, as well as through the gestures, actions, etc. Semantic is that level of language's analysis where meaning is analyzed. It is the most abstract level of linguistic analysis since we cannot see or observe meaning as we can observe and record sounds. Meaning is related very closely to the human capacity to think logically and to understand. So, when we try to analyze meaning, we are trying to analyze our own capacity to think and understand our own ability to create meaning. Okay, next is about basic principles of semantics. Meaning is compositional. This means that the meaning of a complex sentence is determined by the meaning of its parts and the way they are combined. For example, the sentence "the dog barked" is composed of the word dog and barked and the grammatical relationship between them. The meaning of the sentence is determined by the meaning of each of these parts and the way they are combined. The principle of compositionality is one of the most important principles in semantics. It allows us to understand the meaning of complex sentences without having to memorize the meaning of every single sentence in a language. The second one is meaning is context dependent. This means that the meaning of a word or sentence can vary depending on the context in which it's used. For example, the word bank can refer to a financial institution or to the side of a river, depending on that context. The principle of context dependence is important because it allows us to understand the meaning of language in diverse situations. For example, if someone says, "I'm going to the bank," we can infer that they are going to a financial institution, even though the word bank has another meaning. The third one is meaning is dynamic. This means that the meaning of a language can change over time. For example, the word nice used to mean foolish, but it now means pleasant or attractive. The principle of dynamism is important because it allows us to understand how language evolves over time. It also helps us to understand why language can sometimes be ambiguous or confusing. For example, if someone says you're a nice person, it's not always clear whether they mean that you are pleasant or foolish. The basic principles of semantics are essential for understanding how language works and how we use it to communicate with each other. By understanding these principles, we can better appreciate the richness and complexity of human language. Okay, the third one is semantics features. The first one is sense. The sense of a word is its meaning, or what it conveys to the listener or reader. Words can have multiple senses, and the sense that is intended in a particular context is often determined by the surrounding words and phrase. For example, the word bank can have the following sense: a financial institution, the land along the side of a river or lake, a raised edge of a road or path, a slope or steep side of a hill. The sense of the verb bank in a sentence is determined by the context in which it's used. For example, in the sentence, "I deposited my money in the bank." The verb bank has the sense of financial institution. In the sentence, the children played on the river bank. The verb bank has the sense of the land along the side of a river or lake. Okay, the second one is reverence. The reverence of a word or praise is the object or concept that it denotes or what it is about. The reverence of a word can be determined by the context in which it's used. For example, the word I in the sentence "I'm hungry" refers to the speakers of the sentence. The word "the dog" in the sentence "the dog chased the cat" refers to a specific dog, but if the speakers knows which dog they are talking about. Or it can refer to all dogs in general if the speakers is talking about dogs in general. The reverence of a word can also be determined by the speaker's or writer's intentions. For example, if I say, "I saw the new Ji Chang-wook's drama last night," I'm referring to the most recent Ji Chang-wook's drama, even though I haven't explicitly mentioned the title of the drama. The third one is context. The context of a word or phrase is the situation or environment in which it's used. Context can affect the meaning of a word or phrase. For example, the word cool can have different meanings in different contexts. In a literal context, it means having a low temperature. In a figurative context, it can mean excellence or stylish. Context can also affect the reverence of a word or phrase. For example, the word "this" in the sentence "this is my car" refers to the car that is closest to the speakers. But in the sentence "I'm talking about this book," the word "this" refers to the book that is being held by the speaker. Now let's talk about point D. It's about types of semantics. The first one is lexical semantics. Lexical semantics is the study of the meaning of individual words. It's concerned with the relationship between words such as synonym, words that have similar meanings, antonym, words that have opposite meanings, and hyponyms, words that are more specific than the other words. Lexical semantics is important because it allows us to understand the meaning of words that how they are used in language. It also allows us to develop dictionaries and other resources that can help us to learn and use language effectively. For example, the words big and large are synonyms, meaning that they have similar meaning. The words big and small are antonyms, meaning that they have opposite meanings. The word dogs is a hyponym of the word animal, meaning that it is a more specific type of animal. And the second one is sentence semantics. Sentence semantics is the study of the meaning of sentences. It is concerned with how the meaning of a sentence is determined by the meaning of its individual words and phrases and the way they are combined. Sentence semantics is important because it allows us to understand the meaning of complex sentences and to make inference about the truth or propositions. It also allows us to develop tools and techniques for machine translation and other natural language processing tasks. For example, the sentence "the dog barked" has a different meaning than the sentence "the dog barked at the cat." The meaning of the sentence is determined by the meaning of the words in the sentence and their relationship to each other. And the third one is discourse semantics. Discourse semantics is the study of the meaning of text and conversation. It is concerned with how the meaning of a text or conversation is determined by the meaning of its individual sentences and the way they are related to each other. Discourse semantics is important because it allows us to understand the meaning of complex texts and conversations. It also allows us to develop tools and techniques for machine translation and other natural language processing tasks. Okay, next point is about words and meaning. The relationship between words and meaning is a fundamental aspect of semantics. It involves various intricacies. Let's explore this relationship in more details. First one, word sense and polysemy. Word sense. Many words in language have multiple senses or meanings. For instance, consider the word bank. It can refer to a financial institution, the side of a river, or even a particular action in the game. Each of these sentences represents a distinct meaning associated with the same word. And then polysemy. Polysemy is a phenomenon where a single word has multiple related meanings. These meanings are often interconnected by a common core concept. For example, the word head can refer to the antonymical body part, a leader or manager, and top of something, and more. In each case, the underlying concept of top or superior position ties these different senses together. Okay, the second one is sense relations. Synonyms. In the realm of semantics, words with similar meanings are referred to as synonyms. For example, happy and joyful are synonyms because they convey similar emotional states. And then antonyms. Antonyms are words that with opposite meanings. Example include hot and cold, happy and sad. Understanding antonyms is vital for grasping the nuances of language. And the third one is hyponyms and hypernyms. Hyponyms are words that are more specific within a semantics category, while hypernyms are more general. For instance, apple is a hyponym of fruit, which in turn is a hypernym for apple and other fruits. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for listen and pay attention for me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.